The idea of comparison is something that I think became so new with social media and stuff. I didn't notice it until I got a Zanga or a MySpace.
The celebrity of self has changed quite a bit over the decades. Initially, that was somebody else's choice about who was considered beautiful or who was considered, a desirable or attractive.
I believe women 100% are emotionally attached to the number. Nobody sees the tag except you. Since when did you become just a number?
Instead, they should be valuing us and using us for our idea, our strengths, our intelligence.
It's sort of just a very vain way of looking at the world.
It really makes you feel like you are not beautiful. You are
I don't
not
want to wake
perfect.
up one day and look back and think, man, I really could have been living my life without
Everything
makeup.
is
I didn't
either
think I looked good
based
in that
on
dress, but I
comparing
did
yourself
not
to someone
every
else or
day
trying
because
to
I
get you
felt
to
like I
compare
had
yourself to someone else.
Through research and personal interviews, I found women who are comfortable discussing the effects that advertising and social media have on them. This documentary focuses on how social media has impacted this perception and how it affects the self-esteem and mental health of women. This is raw footage of their responses. No Photoshop, no enhancing, it's completely untouched.
This is making me insecure. Hi, I'm Shelbs Dionisi. I'm 22 years old and I mainly use Instagram.
Hi, my name is Samantha Skiles. I am 23 years old.
I'm Abigail Hakis, 15.
Hannah Sims. I am 18, about to be 19 years old.
Objectification to me is finding women in particular synonymous with objects. So they have a purpose, they don't have feelings.
You aren't viewing them as a real human being, you're just viewing them as a sex object, a mannequin, almost. And you're not treating them like a human being, you're just seeing them as an object, quite literally. They aren't being viewed for their personality or their traits or their intelligence, they're just being viewed on their beauty.
You're being judged as an object and not as a person. You're being looked at for your beauty, but not who you truly are.
Objectifying comes from the word object. You're not an object. Social media is kind of an object. It's a tool people use, and you shouldn't have to use that or be used by social media to be who you are and to be okay.
The media not only consists of information that we find on our phones, but it's a part of television commercials, billboard signs, and other forms of advertisements. The perfect, unattainable standards that women are held to has been seen to cause health issues physically and emotionally. By constantly inspecting social media platforms and comparing ourselves to others, we are causing more harm in our own bodies than good. In regards to self-esteem and body positivity, advertisements typically fall astray to normal comparisons. Women are portrayed with airbrushed legs, naturally windblown hair, and a smile painted on their face. Just by looking at the appearance, it's understandable to assume that these women are in fact perfect. They meet all of the expectations. They have created this standard that most women strive for.
I think perfection used to just be like a goal, like something that you would strive to be. It still is, but it was more just like a purity of heart, something that's not tangible. And now perfection seems to be oh, I have flawless skin. I do not. It's okay. But if I was on Instagram trying to post something, I'd probably want to retouch my face.
Perfection generally means no bumps, no freckles, no bags under your eyes, no imperfect hairlines, no wrinkles, no fat rolls. So perfect essentially meaning flawless.
When I think of perfection anymore for women, I see this, what the world probably sees, this ideal body type, big butts, painted on faces, the supermodel that everybody isn't.
They have the perfect body in the current standard. They have the perfect skinny but still busty enough, and of course they're saying I'm perfect. That doesn't mean anybody else is gonna look at it and be yeah, I'm also perfect. No, they're gonna be I want to be like that.
The expectation of beauty has changed throughout time. Quite literally 100 years ago, women used to be seen as the homemaker and the maid, and they were merely there so that when the men came home from work, there would be food on the table, the house would be cleaned up, the laundry would be done, everything was taken care of because the man was bringing home the money, so the women might as well clean up the house, right? Because that's their job. So in advertisements and in commercials, that's what women were portrayed as. They were there to basically satisfy the men. They were shown as kind of useless in a sense because their only job was cleaning up the house and making food. This expectation of women has evolved, but it also has now caused different effects. Women have developed into not the homemaker, but now they're a sexual object. Advertisements will only show a portion of a woman, like her legs or her back or her hair or her lips or her eyes. It's just one aspect, one feature. You're not seeing a human being, you're just seeing the legs.
She's just like literally sitting there as a thing that's being used by these dudes.
Women are being put down in the ads, but in totally different ways.
I guess the sexism kind of morphed. It didn't go away or necessarily get better.
I feel like I should be more offended than I am, but that's because I've become so used to these kind of ads.
By leaving out specific parts of a woman's body or actually highlighting those specific parts, you're putting her body on display. She's no longer a person, she's an object, she's a prop. She's there for the satisfaction.
I think that in some ways, social media can objectify women, but I think it's different than it used to be. I think objectification was just pictures of women that they would pose and things that dudes wanted. Now, I think a lot of girls are realizing, no, like if I want to wear this, it's for me, and I think that is really good. But I think it does objectify still, because if you're posting these pictures for you, that's really good. But I don't always know if it's healthy. You shouldn't have to put your pictures out there, whatever you're wearing. Like, even if you're like hella modest, you shouldn't have to feel good about yourself.
You know, advertisements, they're huge influencers. They're a part of pop culture. Just having them pushing the standard of skinny women, it really does affect and change everyone's perception of body standards, the ideal body.
What does that make you feel? I mean, it makes you feel, for somebody like me who's not that body shape, that you're not perfect. Because they're saying this body shape right here is perfect. Whereas somebody like me, oh no, that's not perfect.
You oftentimes can't always discern what's real and what's not real. And your emotions and your way that you see things become very complex and complicated. And so I think even when we're trying to be our most makeup-free self and our most, natural self, there's still an awareness of performance.
Target has actually become aware of the effects that these campaigns have on women. They have actually started their own campaigns and their own advertisements that promote what beautiful should be, their version of beautiful. Target swimsuit marketing has actually shown women with cellulite, with stretch marks, with freckles. They're untouched, they're completely natural. All these natural things, cellulite and freckles and curly hair and straight hair, whatever you have that you don't need to change, they're no longer being edited out because Target sees these things and they say, that's beautiful. Your normal is your beautiful. What we might call them blemishes and unwanted marks, they're saying that it's all right and that they are perfect just the way that they are. These blemishes are beautiful. They're what make you you.
Fashion ads or makeup ads, they use women for their beauty. They depict this ideal body, this ideal person, when instead they should be valuing us and using us for our ideas, our strengths, our intelligence, things that should matter. But they don't.
It's like curating this culture of blemish-free, like perfect hair. The media, whether it be social media or TV or anything like that, YouTube, it's just not super real. I don't think you should have to retouch wrinkles or cellulite or stretch marks because that's just who you are.
They want you to think you look beautiful in the bathing suit, but you're comparing yourself to somebody who's, you know, there's a team photoshopping, a team making, you know, them look beautiful. Well, I don't look like that, so this doesn't look good on me. I'd like to think that someday we could move past that and just, you know, be like, hey, I look awesome, that person looks awesome, we all look awesome. But I feel like, yeah, there's always gonna be someone comparing themselves to the advertisement, and it's always gonna be detrimental if they're looking at like flawless, you know, superstar models. I think we're coming to a point where we're getting more comfortable with our own bodies, but it's gonna take a while to get to the point where we stop comparing to advertisements. So in the meantime, we really gotta change the advertisements.
Yeah, it makes me feel discouraged because I thought we kind of came farther. I thought there would be more models of different sizes, not even necessarily weights, but just different body proportions.
For someone like me, I'm a thicker girl. I'm a thick country girl, as I call myself. I don't feel accepted. I don't feel accepted because I don't look like these women. These women are beautiful, do not get me wrong. But aren't some of the women that don't look like that beautiful? I mean, we all don't have that ideal body size.
In regards to self-esteem and body positivity, advertisements typically fall astray to normal comparisons. So what is actually normal is different than what we think is normal. Women are portrayed with airbrushed legs and perfectly natural windblown hair and a smile that's just been painted on their face. By looking at that appearance, we are told that it's normal and that it's natural, and so we believe them that it's normal and it's natural. That's not an accurate depiction of what everyday life looks like. That's not at all. Everyday life is how you wake up in the morning, you get ready for the day, you go off to work, you go off to school, you go do life. You don't have a makeup artist and you don't have someone to do your hair in the morning. You don't have someone to bring you coffee when you need it. Sometimes you miss a day of coffee. Sometimes you're really tired. That happens, and we need to accept that. That's normal. That's completely understandable. We don't need to look perfect all the time because perfect is unattainable. We can't be perfect. No one's perfect. Not even the supermodels that we see and we think are perfect. They have been created to look perfect on the computer screen. They've been edited so much that the supermodel that you're looking at, that's not what she looks like in real life.
I think women need to be shown as more day-to-day women. There's too much vamping involved in the women that are portrayed in advertisements right now. Even if they do the no makeup or bare skin or whatever, it's like, yeah, but you're still drop dead gorgeous because you have a lot of money to be caring for yourself. That's just not what life is like.
We all need to just accept where we are now, whether it's on the outside or on the inside. Just keep moving forward. That's like the best you can do in this life.
But that's for my pictures. Like, I have to have this image. And then of course, because brands will buy into that. And so we post these polished, perfect, change the lighting, like have every app to make it amazing. And then we look in the mirror and are like, kind of different.
We need to change the way women are portrayed in advertisements, and we need to change the way advertisements are regarding women. And I don't think it needs to go in any one direction. I think it just needs to be more expansive of who is shown. And that way we can change our expectations of other people and the way that we compare ourselves. Because if we see more people that are different than us, then it won't be as shocking when we do see people that are different than us in person. I think it can be changed by calling it out and confronting it, but that is really scary. You might not feel safe enough to say something. Women talking to other women and their men, either boyfriends, fathers, cousins, nephews, whatever, talking to them realistically about how men can be better to women, more respectful to them, and challenging the stereotypical ideas that a man needs to be a certain way and a woman needs to be a certain way, and if a woman looks a certain way, a man has to say something in a certain way. And I would just hope that the more that people talk about what is and isn't normal or accepted for typical women, then it would start to go throughout society that you shouldn't act that way.
Dove did an advertisement. They showed a woman at work getting ready for a photo shoot. She had a bare face, no makeup, and they show the bright lights. And then they show the makeup artist come, slap the makeup on her face, and then they're doing her hair. They take the picture of her, then they put that picture on the computer, then they edit the picture, they hide the blemishes, they make her bone structure the correct way that it should be, and then that's what goes up on the billboard. That's what we see. We see the end result. We don't see what started off. We don't see what the beginning looked like. We don't see the normal. What's up on the billboard? That's not who we are. We need to change that. These girls that I interview, they're real, they're honest. These are their opinions on the fact. If they all have the same opinions on this topic, don't you think there needs to be a change? Who else has these opinions? Who else wants to see a change? What can we do? What can I do to make a difference?
I walked out of the store like crying or having anxiety attack or just feeling like I'm worthless because I couldn't fit into a size 10 jeans. And, you know, I just think that it has really, really made an impact on me.
I can't tell you how many times, you know, I will be in like American Eagle era, wherever I'm at, and I go into the dressing room and just cry. You know, I'm trying to try stuff on, trying to make myself feel happy and good about myself, and I cry because I can't fit into these clothes. Or they don't fit me correctly because I'm a different body type than the women who they're trying to sell to.
I don't like being one size in one store and another size in another store. That does a lot of damage, especially I think when you're young, because you equate your size with your worth.
I get really nervous talking to people or even posting things because I'm scared that people are gonna think about me differently and that my appearance or how I want to portray myself isn't gonna be enough for people. And it should be, because I am beautifully made. And if I'm trying to measure up to how other people are, I'm never gonna make it because that's not who I am. I need to love myself.
Often, women above a size 24, they feel like they're forgotten. They feel like they've been passed over. Almost like they're telling us that the larger you are in size, the less worthy you are of fashion.
It makes you think that you're not enough. You're not pretty. You're fat. You're ugly. Whatever it is. It makes you feel that you're socially unacceptable.
Because I get so much positive feedback. But if I get one in 30 that's negative, that's the one that I remember, and that's the one that stays with me, and it has so much heavier of a value and more space in my mind, and it has a longer half-life than the good things.
I look at actresses all the time, even watching movies, and I'm just how can I do my hair that way or my makeup, or can I have that outfit? I've tried even wearing clothes that I've seen celebrities wear, and I just have a different body type. It just doesn't fit me the same way because it's not tailored, and it really affects self-esteem and just how I feel. And it shouldn't, because beauty is definitely deeper, and you can rock anything you put your mind to. If you like it, wear it. But I think that a lot of times you get caught up in your head of but that's not what she looked like, or I should be more like this group of people.
You know, it just sort of shows that they have to constantly be aware of how they look in a way that I think men aren't. You know, they have to be constantly retouching up their lipstick if they drink something or eat something. Do I look fat in this dress, sort of thing.
Society wants to define beauty, grace, and self-respect as their own things. So no self-respecting woman would wear a low-cut shirt or get drunk and go home with someone they don't know. Society prioritizes values in women without defining what those values really are, because beautiful means a lot of different things. Grace can mean a lot of different things. I think having confidence in yourself in a way that still respects everyone else and yourself. So like in turn, instead of respecting them, turns into judging them for not being more self-respecting or more beautiful.
I would say that society wants to portray that they're prioritizing women as strong and smart and beautiful and sexy. It's not just when men win an award. It's always like, oh, he did this great thing. He beat these odds. He might not even be a good-looking guy. But when it comes to women, society wants to say that they're doing the same thing, but it's always, she's smart and she did this great thing, followed by, look how beautiful she is. And I think talking about beauty is always a really good thing, but it's just, that's not equal. I should be able to have somebody tell me that I am just super smart and leave out the fact that they think I'm beautiful or ugly. Who cares what I look like? We're talking about the smarts here. Society definitely is like leaning in that way, but not prioritizing women as just who they are. It's still on the side of like what they look like as well.
We live in a society where a certain ideal is deemed as beautiful and the goal for no matter who you are. And I think subconsciously, when you're watching TV and you see commercials or you see ads everywhere, and then you see that you don't match those things, even if someone isn't telling you directly, like, oh, you need to lose a little bit of weight or get a little chunky here, you're kind of like breathing in this notion that I don't look like this and therefore maybe I don't look right.
It's definitely like every time you see like a beautiful woman in advertisement, you're like, wow, she's gorgeous. You get hit with that sort of like, damn, I wish I looked like that.
Wow, like her hair looks so good, but like I've been struggling with my hair for the past year because of some bad haircuts. Like, why can't I be that? And I think that's a really dangerous place to be in.
God, like these girls are beautiful and like everything looks circular on them and they're glowy and they're like just laid out on like someone's yacht with just like shiny things everywhere. And we're like told that this is like success and this is beauty, and it is, but there's also like 40 other versions of it. And to like see that and be like, should I know someone with a yacht? Should I be like trying to get on a yacht?
Part of it, yeah, has to do with how women are portrayed in life. You are expected to look like Jennifer Aniston no matter what you do. And the thing is, the people that are in media and advertisements have insane amounts of people on their staff that help them look a certain way every day. And it's because they're being watched. So I think, yeah, we compare ourselves to everyone. And I think celebrities compare themselves to other celebrities. And I don't think any woman gets out of life without comparing themselves.
There's never a message that's being given to women and girls in particular that you are okay, right as you are, right now, in the current form. That's a very powerful message. It's a harder message to believe when you grow up in this culture, but it's an important one.
Publicized female sexuality is viewed as a form of confidence, and it's what almost every woman desires to have. Unfortunately, this confidence is strictly superficial. When you cover up a mark or a blemish with makeup or Facetune or Photoshop or whatever the new airbrushing technique is, we're subconsciously promoting this negative behavior, this negative expectation, unhealthy habits. They're placed on women every single day. They create the standard that most women strive to be. Instead of promoting these unhealthy habits, we need to address and applaud the women who are comfortable in their own skin and are uplifting those around them.
What I struggle with the most is a lot of these women are still really focused on having the right curves in all the right places, having perfect skin and perfect hair, and they always have their makeup done before they do an ad, even if it's about women's rights. And that's the hardest thing for me is I don't have somebody to do my hair and makeup every day. I will never have a body like those people who are working out with a personal trainer. I love doing yoga, but yoga isn't giving me the body that those girls have because I'm not doing a million squats all the time and lunges. It's hard to even compete with that, and so a lot of young women have these great role models in the sense of like they're trying to empower and free, but I think that there's another side to We don't have to work out to be beautiful. We don't have to have our hair perfect, and I wish more people in this world would, talk without makeup on.
I feel that women today, especially girls growing up, I'm gonna say some of these popular, celebrities, she has the ideal life, in a sense, the fancy cars, the fancy houses, the fancy trips, etc. And that's what people usually want to go for when they see a woman. I've asked men before, like, what's your ideal woman? What does she look like? And that's usually what they tell me. And they fail to realize that beauty not only comes on the outside, but it also shows on the inside with how a person truly is.
We need to set a new standard of beauty. Beauty needs no expectations, because whatever you are, that should be beautiful.
The cure to all of this is just for women to have the opportunity to see other women who look like them. It's starting to be a trend in the industry to use real people and to use all different sizes, ages, ethnicities. I mean, even huge brands are using like older women in their ad campaigns, or every different size and every different ethnicity, and that's being celebrated.
You want to have more diversity, more body types. Even when I think of like the diverse campaigns where it's like the plus size women, modeling bras, they're in makeup, no stretch marks. They've got every photo of them is like beautiful and they're smiling. It's just not realistic.
Not everybody's like that. There's different sizes for a reason. It's because everybody's different.
I mean, you want to see flaws. You want to see people who aren't covered in makeup.
We have to diversify what we look at and challenge ourselves to think about why we think the way we think. Because if we're on social media and we're looking at these models and we're looking at all these polished things, we forget that we're a gift.
Stop comparing yourself, find the beauty within yourself. And then I think a lot of women tried to go and do that. And then we all went back on Instagram and it just immediately reverts back to how it was before you kind of got the self-confidence. So if you want to be self-confident, probably don't go on Instagram.
I think the body positive movement has actually given a framework for people to come out of the margins, people who aren't represented in mainstream publications or mainstream media. It's allowed them to find each other, to have a community, to rally and anchor around a joint goal. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. There is never going to be one brand or one movement or one moment that's going to solve it all. We have to look at this as a collective adventure.
I'm also seeing more women than ever stand up and give each other voices and make each other feel strong and beautiful and cool and able and brave. And women are able to share stories of things that we've gone through and reclaim the power in a lot of that situation and get a lot of healing. And it's interesting. I think we can be using it to tear each other down, or we can be using it to like heal each other and better ourselves.
So what must we do to make a change? We take the word perfection and we revamp the concept. R is for respect. We need to respect ourselves by sticking up and displaying ourselves in real, untouched ways. E, we need to embrace. We need to encourage other women by embracing our true, beautiful selves. That is what female empowerment should look like. We need to uplift ourselves and each other instead of tearing down and comparing ourselves to others. We need to discover what we love about ourselves and what makes us unique. Our own perfect should be our own normal. V, vulnerable. We need to become more vulnerable with more than just our close group of friends. We need to show our true self on social media, the bad days, the good days. We need to discuss topics that are uncomfortable and maybe don't fit into the social norm. We need to express that our perfect is struggling to get out of bed in the morning. Our perfect is a bad hair day. Our perfect is simply us. A is for accountability. We need to find people who are going to check in on our mental health and our emotional state. We need to find the people who are going to see a difference when the media is affecting us in ways that we can't really express. Those people who can check in with you, they're there to keep you accountable, and you can do the same for them. We need to support each other in this process. M is for mindfulness. We need to understand that not everyone is in the same place emotionally and physically, mentally. By doing this, we'll have more compassion, more empathy to those who are struggling, and we'll be able to help them. P is for perfect. We need to change the definition, revamp the concept of perfect. Normal and perfect should be put into the same category. They can be used interchangeably. Untouched is the new perfect. This is my normal. What's yours?